All right, Friday, December 11th. J.R. Lewis with you here on KLAM and KCDV. Very glad to be able to continue to provide this service, the daily briefings. We had hoped to talk with Dr. Sanders about a couple of things, nothing significant, just to get some updates, but she has been busy this afternoon. So hopefully we'll be able to catch up with her on Monday, and in the meantime, I'll go over some information from the city and the state that might be of interest. These programs, of course, come your way in the 1, 5, and 8 p.m. hours on the radio and then are uploaded to youtube.com/Cordova TV. And from the city, they sent out a news release about the dashboard, which shows that a third positive resident case was identified yesterday. And this is another one related to the positive case identified over the weekend, which was travel-related, apparently. So that brings Cordova's current active case count to 3. Again, not with random spread, but all of these cases apparently correlate to one another. And the medical response team is, again, strongly advising all citizens, challenging as it is during the holidays, to forego elective travel at this time in order to keep the community safe. Cordova remains at a level 4 alert, and if you're not familiar with the specifics of what that means, you can punch it in at covid19.cityofcordova.net. Now, on the vaccine front, just got a media advisory from the state, actually about 10 minutes before we started putting this update together, saying that the COVID-19 vaccine arrival and distribution could be as soon as next week. It says the Alaska COVID-19 Vaccine Task Force, co-led by the Alaska Department of Health and Social Services and the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium, is planning for the first shipments of the Pfizer vaccine to arrive in Alaska sometime early next week, pending authorization under an emergency use authorization by the FDA. Yesterday, the Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee recommended the emergency use authorization of Pfizer's vaccine to the FDA. They're expected to issue their EUA on Saturday, tomorrow, and following that, shipping of the vaccine could begin as early as Sunday and continue through Tuesday. Alaska is expected to receive 35,100 doses of the Pfizer vaccine sometime next week. The first group of Alaskans to be vaccinated would include hospital-based frontline healthcare workers at highest risk for COVID-19 infection, long-term care facility residents and staff, EMS and fire personnel providing medical services, community health aides and practitioners, and individuals who are required to perform vaccinations. And those allocations, they say, were determined by the CDC Advisory Committee on Immunization Practice and the Alaska COVID-19 Vaccine Allocation Committee. And that's pretty consistent with what we've been hearing at the national level as far as who they expect to give these first doses to. So, interesting developments there. And fortunately, not much in the way of world-rocking news on our local dashboard. Again, 3 active cases. They all seem to correlate to one another, having to do with some travel. So the city is continuing to advise against elective travel just because the virus is running pretty rampant, not only in the country, but many other places in the state. So it sounds like it's not too hard to pick it up and bring it home with you. And with that, we'll call it good for this week. Thank you for tuning in. Our daily briefings on Cordova's COVID response in the 1, 5, and 8 p.m. hours on the radio and uploaded as soon as possible to youtube.com/Cordova TV. I'm J.R. Lewis, and we will resume regular programming on the Clam and the Eagle.